Hello and welcome to my video overview of Adobe Photoshop Lightroom. In this video I'll be using Lightroom 3, but I will stick to features that are common to all the previous versions of Lightroom as well. This is going to be a 15-minute video and there is a lot to cover. I will not go into explicit detail about any particular features in Lightroom because there's a lot to cover. So I am going to jump right into it. So the first thing you would need to do, of course, is to get some image files into Lightroom. So you go to File, Import Photos. Lightroom will automatically detect when you connect any kind of memory device, a flash card. If you connect your camera via USB or however you prefer to connect it to your computer, it will automatically detect that and open Lightroom, and then in turn open this dialog box, which is the import dialog box. You can also manually pull images from anywhere on any sort of device, just about imaginable, because Lightroom is really good about detecting them, and then it'll break out all the folder trees on that drive and the subfolders, etc., and you can select images and pull them in. So here's where you're seeing where these images are actually coming from, which is, you can see it was shot with a Canon camera, the EOS. But anyway, it's on a little flash drive, which is called G on my system, and here are the preview thumbnails, which you can increase the size or decrease the size depending on what your needs are. You have a grid view, single view. If you have a dual monitor set up on your computer, like I do, although I can only show you one at a time because I can only record one at a time, you can see throughout Lightroom, you can see a full size preview in the second monitor, and you don't have to set that up. Lightroom will automatically detect your second monitor and do that for you, which is really awesome. So over here we have where the images are being copied into, what drive, and down below is where you can select the file folder where you want the image files to go. In between those two areas, you have some basic folder options and file options. Pretty self-explanatory. You can add some keywords here, although I kind of recommend doing that library module, which we'll get to next. You can select a different destination folder, and that's about it. So that covers the import dialog box, and so we're going to import. That will take you right into the library module. On the left hand side of the library module, you have the navigator, which is slightly larger than thumbnail preview generally, and the reason it's called a navigator, it's the same thing if you're familiar with Photoshop. It's the same thing as a navigator in there, but I'll just show you anyway. If you zoom in, you can drag this box around. It helps you navigate through greatly increased in size photo. Fill 1:1, 3:1 ratio. That's navigator. Down below, you can do some quick collections. You can make collections out of certain photos from a variety of different folders while you're in the library module, and then work off of those collections throughout the modules, because otherwise you don't really see these folders and sort of be able to select. So basically you jump back and forth if you don't make collections, which is really fine in Lightroom 3 because they've really increased the speed with which Lightroom can handle jumping back and forth from module to module. So that's what I tend to do. We have some more preview options now that we're in the library module side by side, and then if I highlight all of these photos, it gives it sort of this triptych view, which is good if you have a couple photos in a series and you want to look at them all at the same time to see which one's the best, which one's your favorite, whatever you want to do. So that's that. You can add a you can reject the photos, you can add different color flags, you can put a rating, you can flip them around in here, back and forth. Okay, so on this side we have, on the right hand side, again this is a major preview window. This is consistent throughout all of these modules. So you have the histogram, self-explanatory, a little information about the image file. Here you have some quick develop options and features which are really broken out in the develop module, which I don't tend to use this at all in the library module, but I could see that you could. If you do use something here and you say on this sunset, actually it's a sunrise photo, if you made adjustments here and you liked them and you wanted to migrate them to all the other photos, you could click sync settings, which would bring up a box that then you can use. You could check or uncheck boxes say you made a number of changes to maybe the white balance tone control, you could select which ones you want to migrate to all the other files as well. In between we have keywords. This is where I do my keywording. You can select from some suggestions, a really exhaustive list. It keeps track of all the keywords you've basically ever used. In here we have the metadata. If you alter the metadata, you can use this sync setting to migrate the metadata to all the other photos from a single photo, should you choose to do that. So that's about all in the library the library module rather. So we'll bring you into this develop module, which is where you're going to spend the majority of your time, I would imagine. As you may have noticed, I think I kind of neglected to, but it's kind of, again, this is just a film strip. If you had 100 photos down here, a bar would appear here that you can grab a hold of and slide back and forth, and it's another way to navigate the folder that you're in once you leave the library module. So just a little heads up on that. Okay, Navigator, same as in the library. Down here you have presets. With each passing version, these presets get more wonderful and more fantastic and get more creative. This photo would probably maybe illustrate some of the really good ones. But anyway, don't have time to really go into them, but it gives you a good starting point. You can vignette them. You can do a lot of really fun stuff in here. But you can also save your presets if you want to. If you have worked on a photo and then you have similar photos, you want to apply those same changes, you can save it out as a preset and you can load it. The other cool thing is that a lot of people, all of these down here, people have been sharing presets on the internet, and you can download a lot of them for free. Like, look at that funky look. That's pretty cool. Go to fit view. I really like that. That might be a starting point for you, and then you could work on that. So I might post some links to where you can find some of those, and I may post some of my own presets as well. So that's the left-hand side. Very easy to import. You just right-click and click Import Presets, and it loads. Over here we have a lot of tools. I'll go over them briefly. Crop, very self-explanatory. Spot removal, again, very self-explanatory. Red eye correction. Graduated filter, which is really good. Let's reset that. I'll take some time, even though I might not have it, but we'll make it because it's such a cool tool. So let's say we want to bring the exposure. We want to make it seem a little earlier, maybe, than it was. We can do that. We can bring that down if we want. Look at just that little bit of work, what the effect was. So that's that. The paintbrush, the brush tool is kind of similar but different. It's localized. This is really crude demonstration of this because it's really fantastic. Once you see, you can darken that exposure if you want. You can really bring the sunlight out, as if the sun was really blasting down on those just by jacking up the exposure there. And you can see before and after. That's what it was before. It kind of gave it a nice effect. Okay, got to move on. These are the let's close that. Okay, these are the same sort of quick tools that we found in the library, the quick develop tools in the library module that I said you could manipulate in here. Anything in here in Lightroom you can scrub. You can grab the bar, you could scrub back and forth, you could type in a number to make adjustments. Here is the tone curve, self-explanatory, just like in Photoshop. Here it breaks out the saturation and luminance into the bars that you can adjust, scrub back and forth. Again, tone curve. Split toning, sharpening. You could target a detail that you want and it'll zoom in this box, and you could play around with the sharpening. Camera profile. This was shot with a wide angle lens. You could sort of correct for that if you want. Down here you have some vignetting, very self-explanatory. You can add grain if you want. The noise reduction in Lightroom 3 is really fantastic, which you could probably see in a better photo than this, but I've put some really grainy looking stuff in here, and it really keeps the detail but yet takes the grain out, which is really fantastic. So that's the develop module. I'm going to move on to the slideshow. Okay, slideshow, again, you have a preview panel. It's not really a navigator, it's just a preview panel in this one, but it's kind of the same thing. You have your work area here. These are really kind of self-explanatory. You just click through them, different templates. You can adjust a lot of things over here as well. Stroke border. Come on, click it on. So you can put a stroke to the border. You can adjust, you can cast a shadow, and adjust the angle if you want. You can change grid lines. You can do a lot of stuff. You can add an identity plate if you want to. You can make it bigger, smaller. You can add a custom one with your logo, what have you. You can add watermarking. The watermarking features in Lightroom 3 have come a long way, which you can also export photos out of here and have the watermark. Beyond there, color wash, which is kind of this background. You can really do some funky stuff. Intro screen, ending screen, so you could sort of sandwich the actual slideshow in between. You can have a nice thing with your logo, maybe with a client's name, maybe with some information at the beginning or the end. Slide duration, you can do all kind of stuff there. So that's about it. Print module. Again, you have sort of the preview pane over here, which really previews kind of what the templates look like, as you can see. A lot of different layouts. There's a contact sheet one in here. There's a greeting card template. There's a contact sheet one. It'll fill in no matter how many photos you have. So that's, again, pretty self-explanatory. On the right-hand side, there's sort of more control over this, just in a greater sense, in sort of a macro sense. Image settings, very self-explanatory again. But you can really manipulate just about every possible detail you can think of with printing out your photos. It's really detailed. You can print one as a test print. You can print the whole package. Again, identity plate, watermarking, similar features. In fact, exact features available in Slideshow. They're available in here. And it's just, I really can't say enough about the print quality in Lightroom 3 versus the previous versions. I think it's a lot better, improved. So, onto the web module. This will allow you to export some really professional looking galleries that it will export into subfolders, the photos in a thumbnail size, in the full size, whatever choices you make on, regarding the options here, and then it will also make an HTML file, so you can actually just link to it from your main page, and you're going to have a professional looking web layout. There's different color backgrounds. There's flash galleries. There's your standard HTML galleries, as you can see. And then over here is sort of the macro options to this. This tends to control sort of the overall options for that, really. Postcard viewer. Really fantastic stuff. If I had a lot more photos in this, it would kind of make it, maybe a little more impressive, but you definitely get the idea. Again, you can adjust the title. You can, put an identity plate. You can control the background, colors. Pretty self-explanatory. And you can export it here. You can actually put in your FTP server information and have it uploaded right onto your web hosting account right through Lightroom. I've used it. It works. I haven't really used it much in Lightroom 3, but it's definitely an option, definitely a reliable option. One thing that I wanted to jump back is the export. Exporting photos. Typically, I do it out of the develop module. So the export dialog box, you can right-click here. There's just some features that I just have a few seconds to go over. If I clicked on Edit in Photoshop CS4, it will open up options for this. I'll just click on it, and it's going to take us right into Photoshop. You get the general idea. So it'll take you right into there. You can, oops, that might be cut off. You can set up different options as far as exporting. You can choose to edit a copy with Lightroom adjustments. You can do a lot with that. You can export here, and there's a lot of export options. You can export the original file. You can export a lot of things. You can change different height. You can do a lot. Hope you enjoyed the tutorial.